Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel. Thank you for stopping and watching. My name is Angel, and today I thought I'd do a video about the deck modifications that I've done, or attempted to do. No, they've generally turned out pretty well. So I thought I'd start with by saying that I really enjoy Dawn Michelle's channel here on YouTube, Boho Tarot. That's her channel name. And I really enjoy that, you know, she's, I want to say daring with her decks, you know, like making them work for her if she feels they're not working for her. I think that's quite liberating to, you know, yeah, take it into your own hands and make a deck work for you. So that's really inspired me. Dawn Michelle's channel's really inspired me to, you know, do some of my own modifications. So I'm going to show you some of those today. And the first modification I'm going to start with is I think the easiest one, personally, which is edging a deck. And I've edged quite a lot of my decks. And this is one of my latest ones that I've edged. This is the Antique Anatomy. These are the backs. These are some of the cards. I'm sure you're more than aware and more than familiar with the cards in the Antique Anatomy. Anyway, I decided to edge mine in a mustard yellow colour. I love mustard yellow. I think it's amazing. Just love that colour. And as well as edging the deck in the mustard yellow, I also bronzed off the edges. I'm hoping you can see this on camera. So I literally just I actually drew on my finger with the bronze pen, and then like rubbed it on the actual card edges to give it a bit of a not a rustic feel. What's the word I'm looking for? Like a dated feel. Bit of a distressed look. So yeah, that's the Antique Anatomy. Let's have a looky here. This was a deck that I received as a gift. Unfortunately, when I received it, it was a big fat fake. This is the Pretend Dark Mansion Tarot, and because it was a fake, I didn't feel particularly precious about it. So I really wanted to edge a deck like this, like split the colours, and I didn't dare do it with the deck that I'd, you know, that was even mass market that I would have to spend out on again. I didn't dare do it with any of those decks. So when this came along, it was like the perfect test, really. So I picked up the colour of the jewel in the back of the card in the blue, and then I edged it in like a brown colour. I even added gold and bronze to make it look distressed and old, and then I even added black onto the ends here as well. And I think it came out pretty well. I do use this deck. I think it's a great reader. My plan is to, in the very near future, buy the real Dark Mansion Tarot, and I've even seen, I think it's called the Slavic Tarot. I hope I've said that right. I'm sure that's the name of the tarot deck. I think it is. And that's also on my list now, unfortunately, on my wish list, because that is absolutely gorgeous. But that's another story. So yeah, that's some decks I've edged. That led me on to this one, which gave me the confidence. This is a deck, I don't know what the name of this deck is. It came in a box set. It's written, the guidebook is written by Sammy Main, and the deck is illustrated by Marissa de la Pena. I hope I said that right. These are the backs. These are some of the images. Just to give you a bit of an idea. Anyway, I decided that I wanted to edge mine. I wanted to pick up this detail with the turquoise, the lilac and the pink. And I did that. I did exactly that. I edged the deck so that, I don't know if you can see here, you've got this end which is blue, follows the whole edge around obviously, and then purple, and then pink, which follows all the way around. And I had these like metallic pens which I'd bought, which worked really well, I think. So yeah, so that gave me the confidence to edge a deck with 3 colours. So thanks to the fake Dark Mansion Tarot. So I'm not going to show you all the decks I've edged, but I will continue to show you this deck, which is a deck that I showed in my pre-love, not unloved video. That is this one, which is actually a French version of this deck, which is called, let's see if my memory is going to serve me here, the Tarot of the Sorceress, which is also coming out or is out now in English. This was a eBay buy, and when I received the deck, the borders had already been cut off, but I believe the person that cut the edge of the border did it with scissors, so it was quite difficult to shuffle. It was like uneven, so I took another sliver off with my paper cutter and my corner rounder, and this was the same again. I edged this deck in gold and blacks, and then these images are very busy. And I find it quite difficult without looking in the guidebook what the image is. So on all the majors, I wrote the numbers in a gold pen, or possibly in a black pen, because obviously, as you can see, this is a limited colour palette. So some of them I wrote in black, and some of them I wrote in gold. But it's only for me, so that's fine. I mentioned in my pre-love, not unloved video that I feel the borders would really have helped these cards. I think it would have frame the artwork better and maybe contain the artwork. So I'm really debating on buying the English version, actually. But that's also an option, you know, writing on the titles and taking off the borders, obviously. So yeah, that's that one. Let's move on to this one. This is the Tarot of the She. I really like this tarot. I love the images in this tarot, but unfortunately I could not get along with the fact that the suits had been renamed. The air suit had been renamed to Dreamer, the fire was Warrior, the water was Dancer, and Pentacles was Maker, and that just took me out of the reading every single time I laid down some cards. It just completely tripped me up without going back to the guidebook, or without taking those few seconds to think, right, what was the Maker again? Oh, right, oh, that was a Pentacle, right, okay. And I wanted to take that moment out of my reading. So initially I cut off all the borders, and these were quite big cards. They had black borders around the whole of the edge. I don't know if you can see that image there. So it had like the title up here. It has even a keyword. So initially I took off the side borders and left the two top black borders, and that still didn't work for me for this tarot. So then I lopped off the top tarot and decided just to write the numbers and the elemental symbols on the cards, and that was problem solved. Now I can use this deck. I don't get tripped up by it, you know. I can be completely in the reading, and this just works for me. So so yeah, I kept the keywords on the minors, and yeah, so that's another way that I've helped the deck along to work for me. I think these are amazing images. And initially I was thinking, oh, I don't know if I dare. Do I want to spoil the deck by writing the images on, or sorry, by writing the numbers and the elemental symbols on? But what does it matter? It's just me that sees it. I don't read for anybody else. I only read for myself. And better a deck gets modified, in my eyes, than it sit in the box on a shelf unloved. That's a terrible waste. So now this gets used, and I'm a happy bunny. So that's great. That was a Tarot of the She. The next tarot I'm going to show you, I'm going to show you this bag also, because this is quite gorgeous. It comes in this bag, which I obviously bought especially for the deck. I'm sure you can guess what the name of this deck I'm going to show you is. This was, or is, the Nicoletta Ceccoli Tarot. These are the backs. I also edged mine in a green, and contrary to popular belief, green is not my favourite colour. It's just, you know, a coincidence that there's a lot of green going on in these videos. Yeah, unfortunately this tarot did not work for me. I didn't find that the images resonated with the with the card meanings for me in tarot. So I cut all of the borders off, all of the titles, and I just made it into an oracle. And now it works really, really well for me. I use this for inner child work. I use it for shadow work. I wouldn't say I find the images creepy, but I wouldn't definitely not class this as a hug deck at all, which is why I use it for a bit more of I'm not going to say darker readings either. How am I going to explain this? Oh, I think you understand what I mean. I'm going to say shadow work and inner child work. So yeah, that is the Nicoletta Ceccoli Tarot. And Gordon Bennett, do I have a problem saying that name? That trips me up. I need to actually look at the name to be able to say it. Anyway, so I'm really happy with that. I'm really glad that I, took the step and was bold enough to chop off the borders. And worst case scenario, if I decide in a couple of years, hopefully, if it's still in print, that this doesn't work for me anymore, or I want the tarot, then I can just rebuy the tarot because it's mass market. So, yep, another deck that made me happy. The modification really worked. Let's have a looky here. Yeah, this was another deck that showed up in my pre-loved video. This is the Guardian Angel Tarot cards, which I bought also on eBay secondhand. This was definitely a pre-loved deck. The person that must have had these cards must have, really, really used them a lot. This used to have gold gilding, and the gold gilding was really, really naff. Actually, it was like peeling off, and the edges were quite grubby looking. These are the backs. So I decided to just take a very, very, very minute sliver of the card off just to get rid of the gold gilding. And then I rounded the corners. I still haven't edged this yet, so I'm going to edge it, but I'm not sure what colour to edge it in. And I'm not going to rush to decide. I'm going to let the deck speak to me when it's ready to tell me what colour it wants to be. That sounds really daft, but, I'm a bit like that. I start a project and I really want it done there and then, but in this case, for instance, when I was a bit unsure about what colour to edge it, I don't then want to rush into it. I know it's only edging the deck, but still, I want it to be right. So I just let it sit and wait and to tell me when it's ready. So yeah, so let's show a few of these cards. This is a really lovely, gentle deck. I wouldn't say the artwork's particularly my aesthetic, not really, but I really enjoy the messages, and I use this in my ancestral practice. So yeah, so that's that one, modified, and I'm very happy with the results. Let's have a looky here. I've got one last one to show you, and that one is, sorry, what's the word? Warning for nudity. Definite warning for nudity now. I bought these two tarots, the Manara Tarot, and then even the Tarot of Sexual Magic. And I tried to get along with these decks. I really did try to get along with these decks. And they just really annoyed me, actually. They just really bugged me. And around the same time, well, obviously a little bit after having bought these decks, I was really into, I really wanted to get the Reclaim Oracle. And I couldn't get my hands on that one. I think it was out of print at the time. And so what I decided to do was I decided to combine these two, because they weren't working for me as tarot, combine the images and make an oracle deck out of them instead. So that's exactly what I did. I went through both decks, looked at all the images, and as I mentioned, some of the images frustrated me and annoyed me quite a bit. And so the word that conjured up, that annoyance that it conjured up, that's the word that I use for the card. So I can't show you so many of these cards because obviously there's a lot of nudity and a lot of body parts and other things going on in these cards, let's just say. And I'm not sure how well that's going to go down. So I'll show you the ones that I can show you. As mentioned, warning for nudity. For instance, so I cut all the borders off, and then I wrote the name that, or the word that sprung to mind when I looked at these cards. So, for instance, strength, closure, criticism, absence, power, connection, faith, humiliation, wealth, protection, peace. How much more peaceful can you get? By yourself at a cafe, reading a good book, drinking a good glass of wine, and not being bothered by anybody. I mean, that to me is just total peace and quiet. Confidence, patience, change, purpose, expression, revenge, control. And I'm going to finish on this one. I'm going to end on fear. So there are quite a lot of cards here that I've written words onto, and I just googled different words basically. These are the backs, which are obviously two different backs because they're two decks, obviously, and I still haven't edged mine, so I'm going to edge mine in a black. I hope I was in camera then. These are the backs. Sorry. Yeah, I like it that they're quite small. I like it that they really fit in my hand. Yeah, so this really works for me, I have to say, and I use this also for shadow and shadow and inner reflection and introspection work. I use this as I tend to build a tarot spread around this. I pull a card, and go from there. So for me, this really works. I think I'm still going to end up buying the Reclaim Oracle. I really would like to get my hands on that deck and read the guidebook and work with the cards basically. But for now, this really works for me. So I'm really happy with that. And this is a really great example of making the cards work for me. The two tarot decks weren't working. I could have rehomed them, but they weren't particularly expensive. They're mass market decks. It would have been more of a hoo-ha to sell them on, I think I've mentioned before, or maybe I haven't mentioned it before, but my tarot practice, I don't speak up my tarot practice with people. They don't know that I'm into tarot. They don't know I'm into I'm going to say woo-woo things. So in my community, there's not anybody that I particularly know that I could even pass these cards on to. So anyway, this was a perfect solution for me. This definitely worked for me. So yeah, I'm going to move that along because I can't really flick through the cards while I'm going to sign off. But yeah, so it's a pretty short video, and that's all I've pretty much got for you today. Obviously, as mentioned, I have got a lot of other decks that I've edged, but these are the main decks that I would say, modified in some other way than just edging. Yeah, what say you? Do you modify your decks? What do you think about modding decks? I personally find it's a great way to actually bond even more with the deck when I'm working with it, and modifying it. But what do you think? Please drop me a comment in the comment section. Please like and subscribe if you'd like to. Thank you so much for watching. Have a lovely morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you might be in the world. And yeah, take care, and I hope to see you next time. Toodaloo!